what we are doing here is to try and give as much information as possible to the upcoming insiders of the music industry. So I know you guys are songwriters, you guys are producers. So the first segment for today, we are going to be basically talking to two well-known producers. One of them was introduced to the South African music industry through his hit single, The Sumerian Boy. And then the other one was introduced, later after he released his first album, which was Paradise, under Lock Communications. He did blow up with his hit single, 66. So if you guys can just make a warm welcome. Are they already by the door, maybe? Are they close by? Nothing. Okay, as mentioned, that the first part of our program is that we're going to be having a little bit of a seminar behind production. I did mention that I have two well-known producers with us. So I'm introducing Felo as well as Musa. They are both inside the Amapiano genre, a bit different feel, different take. So definitely you will be learning a lot from them in terms of their sound and how they decide to do and make their music. So I think we can just start with the questions starting from now. I'd just like to post out to what I'm just basically going to be doing is I'll give each person a chance to just answer the same question, because I believe it might just be different for each person. So just give us a bit of a background, Felo. When did you start producing? How you grew up? What ignited that thing for producing?
Okay, so what's up, guys? My name is Felo, but known as Felo. Started producing, I think I started producing when I was in grade 10. Yeah, I think in grade 10, thank you. Ever since then but I played before, I started like DJing before. But after that, I just started producing, and I fell in love with the music as time went on, you know what I mean? Because my mom used to play these cassettes and everything, so I used to record, then I would try to play it on both sides. So when there was a hit song playing on radio that time, because cassettes and the tapes back then, you used to record whatever exclusive song you would hear on the radio. So I used to do that, record, then record it on the other cassette, then just try to play around and fool around with them, especially when they hosted parties at home. Yeah, so yeah, started back then. So yeah.
And then over to you, Musa. Same question.
What up, everybody? So for me, it started when I was in grade 7, I think. Yeah, grade 7. Going into grade 8, it started in church. I used to play keys at church. Friend of mine invited me, yo, pull up. Let me just show you what happens. So I was just surprised about the whole idea of damn, so many instruments played together at one sound, so unison, you know. So then I just loved the piano more. Then I started there. And then when I was around grade 8 or 9, I met a guy called Lazarus, who happened to be my musical mentor. And then he had a studio, so the first time I got into his studio, I just got surprised at how they, the making of the music, you know, from recording vocals, from putting elements together. I just fell in love with that process. And then I've been in ever since. I think I've been doing it for over 8 years, I think, now. So yeah, I think 8 plus.
Okay, so getting into production, what is production for you guys personally, and basically what goes into your thought process during producing?
Yeah. Okay. I think for me, there's a lot that happens every time when I produce, especially now recently, because I come from a deep house background. So I used to do Afro tech and deep house back then, you know. But the sound now sonically is amazing, you know. I feel like Amapiano just walking something different, you know. So every time when I produce, especially this genre, I consider people a lot, you know what I mean. I'm a people's person by nature, so I just enjoy when people are having a good time and listening to the music. I try to study people as much as I can when I'm at groove and listen to the sound. Let's say maybe Musa's playing at a gig and there's a specific sound he's playing, you know, or a song. And if it makes people excited and he plays another one that's similar, sound-wise, and it just keeps on bringing more of that excitement. Then I have an understanding that actually, if I can influence this and just put it into my own sound, you know. But there's a lot of things that I consider besides that, like the music has to make sense, you know. The levels have to make sense, obviously, when it comes to like mixing and everything. The mood also, you know what I mean. Overpowering in terms of like vocalists or instruments and all that. So I just consider a lot of things, but I think more than anything, I consider groove. Most of my music have groove in it, so if there's no groove, you know, for me, it's just chilling, you know. It can be soulful, but as long as it's moving, so yeah. For me, groove, I think, the vibe, yeah.
Okay, I personally think that production is like the most beautiful thing ever. You know, listening at like what's being put into songs, you know, there's so many sounds. Imagine how many amapiano sounds are out there, and how many different sounds. Every song sounds different in its own. So there's so many sounds that can really make sense, you know. And also for me, I'm not from a specific background. I think that's why my music is kind of weird, because there's no specific jazz or gospel. Or I did everything, you know. From church, I then got into a band and then did other genres, you know. There's a time where I played for a trap artist. There's a time where I played for an R&B artist. There's a time I used to play keys for artists, crazy enough, before becoming an artist myself. So also, I just love the beauty of production, man. I think that's the most beautiful thing. What I consider the most, for me, I think the drum loop does everything for me, you know. Like, whenever I make songs, I always think of the drum loop. Like, it needs to make you love the song before you even hear any other sound. You know, before even getting the chords, the vocals, you need to be in love with the vibe and the groove, as he said already. So, yeah, man. But yeah, production is the most beautiful thing.
You mentioned earlier on, Felo, that you do it for the people. You really want to see people happy. At the end of the day, it is your music. So how do you keep the balance? Hore, you don't lose yourself in them in trying to please everyone. How do you still keep Felo Leti alive in the process of making other people happy?
I think, as I said, because of that deep house background and everything. So, you know, that sound is known for being a bit strict musically. It has to like make sense musically, you know what I mean? I won't lie, there's certain songs I was like, these songs are big and they're my songs, but I'm like, yo, if it was me, you know, I wouldn't really like put it out like that, like easily. It takes a lot for me to like be convinced that no, dog, this is the wave, you know what I mean? So back to what you're saying, it's like, you get me? So it's like, how do I balance it? I won't lie, it's pretty tricky because I tend to like fight myself a lot when I'm producing, because I can hear that, okay, this is a bit too, like it's too technical, or it's a bit too musical, you know, different from everything that I've been putting out, you know what I mean? And sometimes I would even test it. I'd go to like venues and play it, you know, and funny enough, I would play both songs that are not known. So I would play the one that's just, you know, that's fully 100%, you know what I mean, something that I would want to do. Then I would have, that's a mixture of Felo and the people, and you'd find out that most, they just love Felo, the other side, Felo and the people, you know. And it's something that I really don't want to fight, honestly speaking. But yeah, I just try to like balance it. I think my cheat code right now is just making the music as clean as I can, because even like the style that I make most of the time, it's considered as very hard, you know. So you just try to like dumb it down, you know, make it as musical as I can. I was talking to Musa, we had a session this one time, and he was talking about the keys. You know, and I was like, yo, I want to get into like more of these keys and just try to like make it, you know, bring it back a bit and make it softer, but when it gets in between, it's like hard. So I think that's how you try to like just balance, you know, whatever element that describes you, you know, you just have to find a way to just put it there. So by heart, I love chords personally, because I come from that era, You know, I used to listen to a lot of Black Coffee, you know, back then. I listened to a lot of Sanel, you know, so it's a different sound completely. But it heals the soul and everything. So I love music that heals. So I just try to like implement that into it. So that's how I like try to balance it. Yeah.
And then Musa, earlier on, you just spoke about how much you pay attention to the drum loop. So my thing is, we're trying to learn as much as we can. So for those who are probably just starting out to be producers, what is that? How would you explain drum loop?
Okay, there's a fine line between too much and not too much.
Okay.
So sometimes you can create a drum loop and then it just sounds like it's too much. Like it sounds very noisy. You know, that's how I know that the drum loop is it's like too much. When you try to put in sounds, add on vocals, and then you just like, I don't know, man, maybe it's because I have the ear I have, but like for me it sounds like sometimes it just becomes too noisy and too messy. Like you can't really know what to listen to. If you should listen to the vocals, the drum loop, or the chords, because it's just so messy. So that's when I know that, I need to tone it down on this one. I need to cut down maybe the hi-hats. You find that sometimes it can be the simplest thing, a shaker. You find that the shaker is making a lot of noise to a point whereby when you try to lace your vocals on it, it just sounds like it's too many things happening, you know.
Too much.
So that's how also, back in church there was as a drummer there are these things called ghost notes. So it's like notes that if you're really musical you're gonna hear them, but they're really soft. You don't really hear them like from the go. So that's what I also do in my music. I took that technique and I was like, let me put it into like amapiano, you know, put in ghost notes. So if you listen to my drums, there's always something that's gonna like hit you like unexpected at the corner of your ear, you know. Also when it comes to mixing, just try to be creative with it, try to play around with it, like my intention is to make it sound interesting to the next person. As you're listening, you must be like, oh damn, I heard that doom, and then it bounced from right and went to the left, and then the other thing you hear that it hits like everywhere. Sometimes you hear as if it's in front of you. You know, I just like love playing around. So I think just be creative with how you make your groove patterns, you know. And also, I think also you would feel it as the person making it. Like you have to like get into the vibe, feel the vibe, I guess. So yeah.
And recently, one can argue that your sound, is specifically Musa, is becoming a bit more African. Like you are becoming more Afrobeat in like your amapiano, right? So maybe I'm not phrasing it properly, but it's more African than it is. It's a distinct sound from the normal South African amapiano beats that we usually hear. So I just want to know, like, what got you into that vibe? Do you listen to a lot of Afro beats? Can we assume that that's where it comes from, or what actually drew you closer to that sound specifically?
I do listen to Afro beats and all, but I don't think they have too much influence on me when it comes to amapiano. Because mainly I've heard a lot of collaboration. So I'm a perfectionist, so I've heard a lot of collaborations of amapiano and Afrobeats that didn't make sense. So I always wanted to be like, for me it doesn't matter who does it first, I just want to do it right, you know. There are a lot of people who do it first but they don't do it right. So I was like, you know what, let me try and figure it out. One thing I had to understand, mainly the reason why I made that sound the way it does, is because I had to understand that if I'm trying to introduce a Tanzanian artist to the rest of the world, people won't understand what he's saying. You know, people won't really understand the energy and all of that. So I was like, you know what, let me rather create a groove that and flows that are gonna be very universal. You know, so for me, it's not I wouldn't say it's a mixture of Afrobeats and whatever. For me, it's a universal sound. You know, regardless of you being black, white, colored or whatsoever, or you being from the States, South Africa, Nigeria, I need you to have a sense of universal feeling. When you listen to it, it mustn't sound, there's some amapiano sounds, when you listen to it, I doubt Americans would listen to, because maybe it's just too stagnant. They don't understand the sound like that. So it really comes in deep for you to understand the direction that you're really trying to take it, you know. So for me, the direction was to take it to like the billboards. That's a song that I see on the billboards, you know. That's a song that I see that could get me into like the Grammys and all of that, because it's very universal. So hey man, when I make music, I don't think about myself and South Africa only, because at the end of the day, we're trying to take the sound out to the rest of the world, you know. So if we're trying to be fresh young niggas doing it outside, we gotta do it like that, you know. Gotta pull up with the new sauce and the universal sound. So yeah.
And then, is there any college background? Do we go to school? Do we study for this, or is this like just pure talent and just work?
Well, I actually went to school. I graduated for sound technology. So yeah, I do have like diploma in sound tech. But it's not what I actually initially wanted to study. I wanted to actually study music. But being honest, I was just very ignorant in school, in high school, you know, because I wanted to be like Tulo, the song at that time was popping, you know. So I just wanted to be like, hey, I just wanted to let go of school and just pursue this thing, you know. So luckily, thanks to my parents, like my grand was like, nah, dude, like finish this thing and then continue with your thing, you know. And I was just focused on finishing matric, but I wasn't focused enough to research, like how many points do I need to qualify to study music, you know. I only found out like later, like maybe a month after we started, you know, that
English.
You know, yeah. So I just found out like a month later that I could actually qualify to study music, but my parents were like, "Nah, dude, it's late now." Yeah, so yeah.
I studied. Crazy thing, I went to a technical high school. To my intention initially, I wanted to be like an architect, also a what did I study? Civil engineering. So the technical school that I went to offered civil engineering, so I was studying civil engineering in high school, and then architecture as well. There's EGD in high school. So, and then after high school, I just got lazy. Like, there's no way I'm gonna read books. Like, there's absolutely no way I'm gonna do that. Also, the demands, you know, when you apply for architecture, they send you an assignment before you actually get accepted, you know, that you need to complete. I was like, that's too much admin. Let me rather stick to something I love doing. Then I went into music, did a young research, studied sound engineering, dropped out on my second year because I felt like I knew everything that they were teaching me. Because already, imagine you started music at the age of like grade 7, and then now you're doing your first year. You probably know way too many things about, especially if you're like me, I'm a perfectionist. I'm always researching about how to better my sound, how to make it sound more cleaner, you know. So by the time I went to the college, I was like, yo, I know a lot of these things. Let me rather just stop it, save my mom some money, and go do what I love.
Everyone's journey is very different, but how important would you say actually getting into a school is? Because I mean, yes, fine, you did get a bit of a background because you started at an early age, but would you genuinely say to someone that just do it yourself and figure it out, or would you actually advise that someone does go into a school and learn something from there? Considering again also that everyone's journey is different, so obviously for you, Musa, it might have been quite completely ridiculous because you started at an early age, but just think outside the box from a different point of view. Would you generally say, man, just go study, learn?
Should I be corporate or real?
Please, or maybe let's just have both. Actually, corporate, and let's have
corporate,
real.
being honest, if you're being corporate, yes, you need to go to school.
Okay.
You know, you need that knowledge of knowing, as he said, you need to know your limits, you need to know your frequencies, you need to know where to cut, where to add, how to, there's a whole technical institution of music basically when making music. And then if I'm being realistic, it's sometimes you don't need to go to school for that. You know, school is literally in our hands. Like, you know, you live with school on your phone every day. I don't know how many times I've got educated by a cell phone, you know. I'm just chilling at home, something pops up, I learned something new. You know, more than going to school. I'll go to school, fool around with my friends in class, I did not learn anything, you know. So personally, if I'm being realistic, do your research. You don't necessarily need school. Personally, especially if it's music or sound related, those things are hella expensive. You know, the colleges are expensive. You're wasting a lot of money. That's how I feel. I felt like I'm wasting a lot of my mom's money because the prices were too high on things that I already knew, or on things that I could find the same sources on YouTube. YouTube literally has everything. I learned how to produce through YouTube, how to get 808s. How do you do that? I literally went on YouTube. YouTube gave me the whole breakdown of how to produce, and then I just took it. Like I just then became consistent in producing. So obviously the more consistent you are, the better you become.
Definitely. Getting into the sound, Felo, there's different types of amapiano. We have private, we have skija, and then now we have a mixture of skija and Bacardi coming together as well. So my question is that how do you, with so many sounds that are just coming up, how do you find your niche? Like finding Wutukeno, but this is where I'll stick and this is where I'll be. How do you find your niche in all of that?
I think the most important before anything is that as a producer, I feel like as an artist producer, you need to understand yourself. So you need to be willing to either compromise or not at all, you know what I mean? So I'm one person who's willing to fuse, anytime, you know what I mean? As I said, we were working on, he said his sound is different, you know what I mean? His sound is different mine is more hard, his is more musical and vibey, you know what I mean? But we came together, we did like one thing, which has that whole hardness and vibe, and it has his musical taste to it and the groove. So it's more about, for me, it's more about like, how do I do it? I just decide that, this is the new sound and the sound is sounding fresh, you know. How can I fuse the skija that these boys are now, operating? How can I work with them, and how can I take this sound that I have and just put it together, Like, it's something that you need to be willing to do first within you and go like, okay, I'm ready to actually fuse. So I like fusing a lot, actually. I like to explore a lot. Especially when I'm on the PC, I like to knob and just hear, okay, this is how it sounds. I like to try chords as well, like practice, and you don't need, not every song is gonna be a hit song. So just keep on fusing. One of them is gonna just pop, and then you might find out that you just created a new sound. Maybe it's a skija Cardi or something, you know what I mean? Ski Cardi. But yeah, that's how I try to find me, because I'm like, okay, I'm willing to actually bring these two sounds together and merge them into one sound, and I feel like that's why people have been just accepting the music, because it's something that they also can relate to. So sometimes you don't need to fight too much to be in your own zone, let's do it together.
But considering that piano is so broad, like I just mentioned, there's gija, there's soft piano, there's this. Can you just maybe, from a musical point of view, just break it down for us? I think also to make it easier for people to learn how to fuse, if they probably understood the difference between, no, it's gija is soul because of this and this, or this element and that element. So if maybe you could just, this is what soft piano sounds like, this is what skija, this is what Bacardi skija sounds like.
Okay, yeah.
All I can say is that there are a lot of relatives. For instance, Bacardi and skija are literally relatives because they're loud music. If we can call it that. I'm sorry if you feel offended. Yeah, it's more like loud music. Bacardi has a lot of hi-hats, a lot of shakers. The same thing as skija. Skija is very weird. It's weird music. It's super weird.
So you don't vibe with skija?
No, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Skija is dope. It's super dope because it's just weird. It's just weird. So personally, I just think skija is more, you'll help me with it. Skija has a lot of shakers and has a lot of percussions, where the percussions also sound weird. There are these effects they put onto the drum loops, so it doesn't sound like his drums, my drums. They don't sound clean and normal. They sound very watery. It sounds very weird. And so also the sound selection in Skija is very different from the commercial sound. They use way too different sound. And then when you come back to Bacardi, you hear Felo with the whistling and whatever. There's a lot of whistles and a lot of the log drums are always heavy. There's a lot of snares. You know, there's that pattern that a lot of people use in Bacardi, you know, that keeps the song going. And then there's the commercial sound, which I would say maybe it's Gabza's sound, you know. It's very, it's just very universal, man. I think it sometimes it has a bit of both.
Yes.
Literally, he just adds chords, he adds a lot of like the bass lines, you know, but also it's very simple. That's one thing I noticed, it's very simple patterns. But then Skija, you will find a pattern that goes, the cycle takes time to come back to one.
Yeah.
You know, like it goes,
And it has surprises. A lot.
A lot of surprises.
Skija has a lot of surprises. Jiggy jiggy, just hear the log drums.
Yeah.
Muspisi.
Or it just pauses and comes back, same like it's just weird. It's very weird. It's a weird sound.
Personally, I love Skija. I'm a fan. I won't lie.
I'm a fan too.
Yeah. I love it. And as he said that, it's a very like I don't like technical sport, you know.
Yeah.
They like you have to do a lot of things. So yeah. But yeah, Skija is the way. Yeah.
Okay. And then getting into vocals. You, Musa, I know you focus on a lot of vocals more than Felo. You do have more people singing on your beat. So as a producer and a vocalist wants to come onto your song, what are you looking for? What needs to be there? And I mean this outside of just music, but even the relationship, because I know music can be felt, guys. If Alupani and you guys are not getting together, we kind of feel it, you know. So my thing is, what process do you put into figuring out, okay, no, I actually want this person on my song? Or even an upcoming artist, how do you just decide that, yeah, you're actually dope, let's go,
I'm glad you actually mentioned relationship. For me, I work a lot based on relationship, energy. If I don't really get along with your energy, we won't make a good song. You know, I really need to dig your energy that much. And also, as I said, I make weird music. I believe I make weird music. So, I'm always, every time I try to make a new song with a new artist, I'm always looking at what's the goal? What am I trying to reach? Which country or which new area am I trying to like go out to? So if I'm trying to go into the States or UK, I'm gonna have to create something that mixes both South African sound and something they would use in UK. For instance, let's say I'm trying to be into the UK market, I'm gonna get like somebody like Skepta, you know, somebody who has that flow, so that it's very much relatable to them. You know, there's nothing that excites a supporter or a fan, if you call them that. There's nothing that excites them so much than hearing something that's very familiar. You know, unlike a supporter listening to a song that's full Zulu, they don't know anything. They're like, what is happening, you know? So for me, I really need to dig your energy, and I really need to believe in like I premeditate. I meditate a lot. Actually, I meditate a lot. So I will listen to your music. I'll try to find the spaces. I'll try to find you in a place where you're not, you know. So if you're used to, for instance, Babalo, the time I made a song with Babalo does things that were similar to what I was doing back then. So I was like, you know what, I can find her, but I need to take her out of that space because that's my normal self. So every time I make music, it needs to sound new. It needs to sound like a new sound all the time. So we had to come in the studio and just create a whole different wave. You know, if we add in guitars, like I do whatever it takes to make it sound different from my previous project or anything that's in the streets. So yeah.
Now let's take it back to when you both were not known, and Musa was just Musa, probably a guy on social media trying to push his music, and Felo was just Felo. I think all of us here are trying to get into the market, and it's quite saturated if we are being honest. A lot of people now want to be musicians, people want to be producers, and it's kind of hard to just push through. I mean, of course, we've got places like, or rather platforms like YouTube Black that make it easier for us, but I think right now what advice would you give to a producer, a songwriter that's trying to get into it? What are the things, I mean, technically, what are the things that they should look out for? Because if we're being honest, the music you made probably 6 years ago you're not happy with, but you probably thought was really, really dope at that time. So I feel like sometimes we're not honest enough with ourselves to really sit down and kind of figure out, is this good enough for people? And also be honest with yourself to say, I'm probably not ready for the opportunity. So how do you not dumb yourself down, but also be realistic with yourself that, hey, Fetu, maybe you still need a bit of brushing, or maybe you still need to learn a bit more. Be patient with yourself. Don't push it too hard. Don't fight to be in the public eye as of yet. How was that space of trying to get into the industry and people telling you no, when you genuinely thought that that was the best thing, but now with the knowledge that you have now, you can actually look back and say, hey, marai. Like, how do you help someone who's probably in that position without discouraging them and telling them to stop, but rather just giving them that self-awareness, for lack of a better word?
I think for me, like back then when I used to like do this music thing, you know, as I said, I come from like a different sound. So it was tough. I won't lie. It was really tough, you know, because sometimes you might find out that you're dope, but you just, you know, you're in a position where, I don't know, like it's not time for you to break through, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just in a position where you just need to change your sound, you know, like I was in that position. And ever since the sound changed, like everything has just been beautiful going forward, you know what I mean? Practice. That's the biggest thing ever though. Like every day be on your PC. If you really want to get into this music thing and you really like want to like be your own king with a certain sound, you know, your own king or queen, so you need to like practice. You need to go in like fully, you know. As I said, also it depends with you, you know, like do you wanna be a king or queen, or you just wanna be, you know, that guy. And there's nothing wrong with it, you know what I mean? But it all depends with you. So if you really want to be like, damn, I want to be like Musa, then you got to put in like the work, you know? You got to also like learn also his sound as well, and just listen to everything, how he plays, as he said, you know, the mixing and everything, and try to like make it better. It's not going to be easy. It wasn't easy for me as well, you know what I mean? But it's all, I even just remembered something. So Tuli always says that not everyone is a star like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I understand why she says that, because it all starts with you as a person, you know, your mind. That's gonna drive you like fully, you know what I mean? Like if you wanna be a star, you will be a star, because you're gonna put in the work to be a star. But if you wanna be that person, you know, you know what I mean, then you'll be that person. You know, you just gotta put in the work. You have to take risk also. You have to like fully go in. You have to trust yourself that, okay, I'm gonna do this risk, and if it works out, don't put pressure on yourself. Like, it didn't work out, it's okay. It can't work out now. Like, I still have songs even now that I play at Groove that are mine, and I can see the reaction. I'm like, damn, I really wanted the song to work out, but it didn't work out. And you just gotta let it be. Move on and try something better, you know? What if that other one is gonna work out better than that one, you know? And I won't lie to you guys, I've had like a lot of those moments where I would make a fire song that I feel like is fire, you know, in studio. Maybe like I'd be on the road maybe for like a few days and not be in studio, and then I'd go back to studio and then I'd create this fire beat, and I'm like, yo, this beat is fire, and then I go play it. And when I play it, like the reaction is different. You know what I mean? And for someone, they would think that, yo, Felo is there and whatever he does is dope. No, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? I also have moments where I would do 2 songs that are fire for me, but they're not fire that much for the people. And it happens. You need to be okay with that, because that's gonna push you. That's what pushes you to create something better and to be on a better, you know, scale, wherever you want to be, you know, in life. So I think practice, just keep on going and put in the risk. Don't be scared to try things out, you know. Also know where you want to be. Also, that's very important, yeah, for me, yeah.
Okay. First of all, insecurities. Everybody's gonna be insecure. I'm still insecure about my sound still till today, you know. I feel like that's a phase that a lot of people go through as like coming up, because sometimes you take out music expecting, as he said, you expect the songs to be big, then the reception is different, and then you're like, oh damn, maybe I'm not that good, you know. I've had a lot of those moments, and one thing I was afraid of was that could even lead me to depression, you know, because you would be like, damn man, I'm so good at this, like I'm sure you can tell that you're good at it, you know, you're like, damn, I'm so good at this, but there's so like even though I'm good at it, it's not happening for me, it's not happening, and then you just become too insecure, you be led to depression and all of that. That's a phase that I also went through, you know, trying to figure myself out, but as he said, be on your computer. I became super consistent in what I did. I kept on trying to figure out new sounds, you know. Every time I would hear, yo, there's a new Amapiano song, they would send it to me. And I'm like, what's new? Or if there's a new popping Amapiano sound, I'm gonna be like, yo, what made this song pop? Is it the vocals? Is it the song arrangement? You know, I had to study a lot of those and all of that. So in the face of coming up, that's the trickiest also, because you also never know when the time is right.
Yeah.
So you just gotta keep on consistently serving, you know. Sometimes also it's just like I always tell the people that I work with that don't come to my studio expecting a hit song. What if today is not the day for the hit, you know? But then now you coming there, you putting yourself under too much pressure, trying to create a beautiful song, to only find out that it's not a beautiful song, you know. Sometimes you just need to go in with the intention of just making beautiful music. Drop music not because you want it to be number one on the charts or whatever, but drop just to try and understand your people more. I've done that before. If it was up to me till today, I still wouldn't have an album out. I would still have pieces like singles, trying to like figure out my people, what my people love, how to direct my sound and all of that. So yeah man, coming up situation is tricky. Just don't be too insecure and lead yourself into depression thinking that it's not working out, you know. So yeah.
Okay, so then you drop your album, Felo, Paradise Under Lock, and then, but what really puts you on the map is a single.
Yeah.
66.
Yeah.
That's what basically just introduced you into the South African market.
Yeah, fully.
So my question is, when creating that song, did you think it was going to be what it was?
No, actually.
Cap.
I promise you.
Personally, I was around. After he made it, there was someone that he was working with, Maestro.
Yeah.
He's actually the one that actually was just like, it's a good song. And
Actually,
it wasn't
I'm
about
telling
it.
you, it's crazy. All my hit songs, I actually doubted all my hit songs.
Yeah. It'd be like insecurities,
Yeah,
as I said.
insecure,
You're
yeah.
always insecure about yourself.
Bopa, I wasn't sure about it. Because Puri was the one who was like, yo, go live, dog. Like, just go live now. And then, because before Bopa went that live, we were playing a song that I thought was dope, you know. Then he said play Bopa, and then Bopa became big. 66, Maestro was the one who said it was going to be big. I was like, you know. Dipaji, you know, as well. Maestro and Tali were like, yo, the sound. You know, I was worried about the plan at that time, I won't lie, you know. But yeah, I think Dipaji, I kind of like had glimpse that, yeah, it was going to be like a big song. But as he said, insecurities, they happen, you know. Even Wanamani, actually, honestly speaking, I actually doubted Wanamani. And Puri was the one who was like, this song is going to be big. So it's like a pattern, you know. I've noticed I've noticed my strength and my weakness. So when 66 was made, I didn't genuinely think that it would be this big, you know. I call it a song for the people. Like, it makes people so happy. It's so crazy, you know. I even zone out myself. I'm like, what? You know, because I put myself in their shoes. I'm like, yo, it's crazy how like a song can make people so happy, and I'm honored, like I'm grateful, you know what I mean? I won't lie. It really like put me on the map in SA and international also, you know. I still get texts even till today from like African countries and, you know, the UK. I know Put was playing it in the States. They were also going crazy. I'm like, what? There's no way. So yeah, it really like put a mark, yeah, for me, yeah.
And I think for you, Musa, it was Sumerian Boy. I think that's the one that introduced us to you and your sound. I was shocked to find out you were on the vocals, right? Yes. So my question is, when, because I first met you on lockdown, I think it was Lockdown House Party. Yes, that was when I first like got to see you and your vibe and everything. You're quite different. I'm gonna get into the branding section after this.
Told you I'm weird.
We are calling it different. But because your brand is also quite different, how you do things is quite different, how you perform, it's just a lot. But in terms of Sumerian Boy, what were you trying? Like what was your thing about? Because you mentioned earlier that when you release music, you want people to feel a certain way, and there's a certain feel that you're trying to give out to people. What was Sumerian Boy about? What were you saying?
I was going through it. I won't lie. At that time, I was going through it. I was going through the phase that I said it happened, like where you're super insecure. You don't know if what you're doing is right or wrong. You know, you try to take out music to people, the reception is not what you expect, you know. So in that phase, I was really going through it. I'm like, you know what? Let me just try out new vibes. At that time, what song was popping? I think Gogo. Kabza, Mapore Scorpion Kings. Gogo. So it was very so I'm like, oh damn, these guys made a hit out of no words. You know, so I'm like, oh damn, what if let me try be on vocals. That's when I had also recently found out that Pori gets on vocals too. So I'm like, oh damn, that guy is dope. So if he can do it, what's stopping me from doing it, you know?
Definitely.
You know, like as an artist, especially coming up, you have a lot of insecurities. Also as a producer, if you're a producer, you have a lot of insecurities being like, yo, what if I'm on vocals, I'm not that good as I am on production and what, you know, you're trying to find balance. That's what I was going through. So I was like, you know what? Let me try this thing. Let me try a formula. I had discovered a formula. I'm like, let me try to just harmonize, like lace harmonies on the song. Just do weird stuff and then translate those harmonies into lyrics. And then I did it. I produced the beat first. It got dull. It felt boring. And I was like, you know what? It feels really boring. And the vocals that I had called that day did not pull up. So I'm like, you know what? Let me hop on the vocals myself. Recorded the vocals. So my intention was to be like explanatory, you know. I wanted to explain what I was going through at that time, lyrics wise, like having words though, like yo kunzima Joe, like
Yes,
it's bad.
it's bad.
It's bad. At that time I have to hlangani some money for rent. And remember I had initiated the chat with my mother that yo, don't pay for my rent, I'm gonna pay it for myself, because I wanted to put pressure on myself to work harder. And then so obviously around that time I had just moved out to a new place. The rent was hilarious. Yo, it was bad, man. It was bad. I did not have no studio. Crazy now. I just had a laptop. I had no studio. I had a friend who was bougie at times. You know those rich kids who have everything. Like if they feel like not recording, when you are recording, they'll switch it off. You know? So every time everything was work, it was time framed. So also when I got into the studio, I'm like, yo, I don't have much time in the studio. I need to go in out. Then I just recorded, man. I doubted the song. I did not want to drop the song. And then my former manager said, you know what, just take it out. And then I took it out. We dropped it. Crazy thing, same time after doing it, I had a Valentine's show back at home, at my hometown. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try play it and see how they react. Played it, they just loved the bass line, but they did not understand. Like people were chilled until the bass line dropped. I'm like, cool, it needs, like maybe they need to understand it. Dropped it, I think 2 weeks later. I was expecting it to be number like maybe top 20 or so. did not happen. I'm like, damn, hey, we failed, hey? Cool. I was like, you know what, let me try out new formulas of pushing music, because in South Africa we had popularized just dropping a song and a link. That's
Yes.
it. You know, it ended there. So I'm like, you know what, let me actually find loopholes. Let me try to find what's missing in the game. Let me try to find the slots where I can put myself in. And then I did that. Started taking a lot of free gigs so that I can familiarize my face, you know, around spots. I started going out a bit more. Started asking DJs to play my songs and all of that, and then it just happened. Hey, like, I don't know how my blow up happened. I genuinely don't know, because for me it feels like I'm in a train where it just gets exciting every single day. You know, so I couldn't really tell which day was the most exciting day, you know. So it just happened, and then, hey man, I got a lot of pressure after that. A lot of people were like, yeah, you need to drop a hotter song than this one.
You tough that
Come
one.
on, like, too much pressure, man. So I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna relax and let the song be digested, you know, and then, yeah.
So now you figured out your craft, you understand it, it's clean, people are loving it. But now there comes the branding part of it. And I know that many of us don't want to talk about it, but your look is important, especially now in the world of social media and so forth. How do you find your brand? How would you say, as Musa, I'm this person, as Felo, I'm this person? How do you distinguish your brand in terms of your looks, just like your PR work around you? What would you say is what also helps people to fall in love with you, other than your music, of course?
I think for me, like, branding is important, eh? I always say, like, I have this close friend of mine, Linda. He always says to me, Linda, like, when I started out with Paradise, when I took out Paradise, he always said, the music is there, but take care of the brand. And he kept on saying it all the time, you know, when he sees me. It's very important. Branding is very important, and the look is also important, because it gets people excited. People love it when you excite them as well, you know. Also, when you, like, present yourself properly, it's like, damn, this guy is actually, like, a big deal like that. You know what I mean? I see his snaps, I'm like, yo, my boy's dripping today. You know what I mean? He's seriously dripping. And for me, that's motivation as well, to take myself seriously as an artist, you know, because that also pushes your image. It's an image at the end of the day, you know. Also, it goes back to what I was saying when we started this convo, that it's all in what you want as an individual, you know what I mean? If you want to be a superstar, you're gonna look like a superstar, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So branding is important. You need to take care of your brand a lot, like work. You know, work on the brand, work on the PR, the image, because that's gonna keep on pushing you forward. You know, and as I said, I like to study. So there was a time where, before I even got into like the industry like this, I used to study like the artists back there. You know what I mean? And there was an artist at that time that I followed a lot, you know, and there was a time where that artist didn't drop music. You know, they dropped the project and then they were like done for like a year, I think. But they were gigging as if like that
They
person
just
dropped, you know what I mean? And when you look at it, it's just because of the branding and the image and the consistency also. You know, the fact that you can move from here to there and you're putting it out there, you know, chigi, you're posting, I'm working on this, and you look presentable. You know, it gets people wondering, because people always want to see you. They're always curious. They're like, man, this guy was in LA now, and he's back in SA, and now he's in studio, and we haven't seen him in a while, like at a certain venue. You know what I mean? They want to go see you because they're excited. They've been seeing everything that you've just been working on and presenting, to a point that it becomes exciting for them to go see, to go watch you. You know, so it goes back to that, just branding and putting in the work, putting in the work when it comes to your image, it's very important. The music is there. It's definitely there, you know. And as my mentor would say, like this is the realest chat like he ever gave me this past week. I was having like a chat with Pori, and Pori said to me, he's like, yo, these boys are pulling up. They're looking at you guys and they're pulling up. I'm like, what? They're seeing you guys. You guys are rocking all these brands and everything. You guys are looking clean. They're pulling up. You guys need to work hard. You know what I mean? And it made me realize that, damn, like, if they're seeing that, like that, they're gonna work, 10 times better or 10 times, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So no one can slack. You can't slack. You need to put in the work, because as much as if you slack on the branding and you focus too much on the music, you know what I mean? There's gonna be a period where that music needs to chill now. Like, your sound needs to chill. We need to give this one a chance.
Yes.
It's the reality. We have to give you a chance. We have to give you a chance. We have to give you a chance. You know what I mean? Your sound has to have a chance. At some point, my sound has to chill a bit so that we can give you a chance. But what do I do in the meantime? If I'm chilling, then I need to work on the branding so that when I come back, it's also acceptable for the music to still continue and live forward. So I don't know if that makes sense a bit. Yeah.
I treat every day as a presentation day. So you are representing yourself every day to new people. And also I look at myself like I can't be going out to perform such a dope, beautiful song and not looking beautiful. I need to look the part as well, So that's how at least I treat it, I'm always thinking that there's a new wave that I need to create, It might not be coming from the drip, it might be coming from the way we shoot snaps. There's a wave we started actually of shooting snaps in a very blurry motiony thing. I've seen a couple of people doing it. So I'm always trying to create a new wave that people are gonna hop on, As he said, the kids are always watching. I'm a kid too, but the kids are also watching. So obviously, I always see it. There are kids that tag me, that show me that they're really trying to make that thing work for them as well, So I always try to do something better each day. As I said, it's a presentation day. I need to present something new to you. You mustn't see me and be like, oh, this is Musa. We know this guy. It's expected, Every day you must be like, chief, what's happening?
Yes.
Exactly. And also, I think what helped me to get to that point was that I had to understand my crowd. What do they like? I had to go through my comment sections, look at which gender is dominating. What, those things. I noticed that, these girls, I don't know what, but it's happening. So I had to do things that would, I swear, I kid you not, I never thought I would wear pink to a show, but I had to do it. And I got the most compliments I've ever got, ever in my whole life, because I was wearing pink. That's a girl's thing. Because I noticed that, girls love the idea of me looking great, sounding great, and all of that. So I just had to understand. So I think also every individual just needs to take time and understand why people love them the most. Sometimes you might find that they love you because of your earrings, and the day you have them off, you see the energy is weird. So you just need to know why they really love you, and just research more about it and execute it more, even though sometimes it needs money.
I was about to get into that. It does need money, but I think also, just to not discourage anyone, sometimes just look good and smell good. Sometimes it doesn't mean that because you're starting out and you can't probably afford whatever brand that you're seeing Musa wear or that you're seeing Felo wear, that means that now you're not gonna look good. I mean, sometimes just learn how to put things together at a price that you can afford.
You can't really sometimes you need that juice.
Yeah,
if we're being honest. Because sometimes you may have all of those things. You may have the resources. Like, for instance, look at, there are rich men who still dress like garbage because they don't have the taste, they don't have the sense, you know. Sometimes, hence I said, you need to sometimes do research. It's something I never thought I would do as well. I had to look at my body type. What kind of clothes suit my body type? Would skinny jeans look good on me? Would, you know, also looking at your insecurities. I'm sure everybody has an insecurity about something. You find that maybe you think your nose is too big. Wear shades or something. Try to like whatever works for you, you know. It goes a long way into realizing what really works for your brand. So you just need to be like super invested and like really dig deep into what works for you.
Okay. To close it off from your side, and then we go get straight into the audience questions. What would you then say to, the ones that are in class right now? What would your word of advice be to the next person that's looking at you and thinking, oh my gosh, Nami, I want to be there? What's the departing words for them? Of course, just before I just pick a few people to ask some few questions.
Be a student of your own craft, you know. Constantly try to figure out something new from like try to put yourself in uncomfortable positions, you know. Just like now, I'm about to drop a song that I'm not fully comfortable with, but I believe that it could do good, you know. And I had to take myself out of that comfort because at the end of the day, as I said, I'm not trying to make people listen to the same thing from day one to the last day I quit music. You know, I'm trying to have a whole variety of songs, you know, a whole variety of sounds. So I'm always a student of my own craft. I'm always learning. So I think the biggest thing ever is being a student of your own craft. Never think that you know enough of what you do. You know, there's always somebody who knows better. And even me, there are kids, people that are way younger than me. Like, I've worked with kids that are like still in grade 8, 9, but I still chill there with the experience that I have, with a better sound than them, and still be like, yo, I want to learn what is it that this new wave can be bringing, you know. So yeah.
I'll just say, man, like, whoever wants to be here, you will be here, you know what I mean? It's possible. As you said, you need to be a student to your own craft. Also the uncomfortable thing as well. I also, like, I've been in positions where I felt like, ish, this is out of character, you know. Especially when I think the first out of character thing that I did was dance on top of
Bass beat.
It actually started way before that. Like, I was dancing on top of, there's this other club in Hatfield. So when you perform, you just get on top of it there, and it's a DJ booth, like right here. So I just jumped on it. I think you got it, yeah. So I think that's the first, you know. And a friend of mine, like Mandisa, was like, yo, you're actually doing something that I've never seen you do, you know what I mean? And from there, then I was like, actually, I need to like continue trying to put myself into these uncomfortable situations, because they really get like people excited. So yeah, it's possible to be here. Just work and put yourself in those positions, you know, explore the craft, you know, the sound, and learn, you know, collaborate. Also, that's very important, because don't ever like stop yourself from learning.
True.
Ever. Don't ever.
Okay, so I'm gonna open up to questions, but only to 5 people. So I think if we could just open it up to producers specifically, and then considering that the next session is gonna be on songwriting, then I'll open it up to songwriters. I think that's much better. So just anyone who has a question, just raise up your hand, and then I'll pick from there. All right, you can ask your question.
My question to you, my brother. Your sound. I'm from KZN. You know, we do drum and piano.
Yeah.
Your sound is kicking. You know, we know a kicking sound is more like drum-like, but you seem like a more reserved kind of person. You chilled.
Yeah.
So I want to know, are you really sure about this? Are you gonna continue with that type of sound? Because you seem like a deep house head, you know. So are you like, because when it comes to your sound, we need to see more collaborations like Petubusiswa, Petamarodo, concerning your sound. So I want to know, are you sure about your sound? Are you still gonna deviate to other, maybe sometimes it's now something chilled and deep, because your sound is trending and it's brilliant. So are you sure about it? Are you gonna go after it, or you're still gonna it's just one soft thing, you know?
I think I wouldn't say I would put it aside, you know what I mean? I think that's also part of, maybe I would say that's my fault, because the songs that I had before this current sound, they're actually like soulful. Like I've done French Kiss, you know what I mean? And French Kiss is more of a soulful song that became like a big song. So I am gonna reach a point where I would like to like venture into like different sounds and just fuse it. I think even like a project going forward that I may drop, it might, you know what I mean, it might include all those sounds and everything. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm gonna put it aside and say, nah, this is just for now. I actually would like, if I'm being honest, I would like to have like a young, probably like, I don't wanna sound like I'm being what's the word? I don't want it to just sound like I'm just saying it, but I would like to have a young Drake on a Scoop with Timber Beat, you know what I mean? Because they can flow, these people, you know, or as Puri said, he wants a Rick Ross, because they have that energy, you know?
Yeah.
Personally, I would wish the sound doesn't die. It can be just the sound amongst other sounds within, because as you said, it's very kicking, you know, and it's every time when I go to Durban and I play, it's always crazy. It's all because they can relate to the, you know. So I would actually wish for the sound to like continue growing, so that we can have more great stars that we feel are not reachable to jump on that sound. It doesn't always need to be a mellow sound, because if I'm being honest, like a few international artists that I've listened to personally from my perspective on piano songs, they're not fully hardcore the sound that I'm doing.
Yes.
So it would be dope like to have like 5 tracks that have international acts,
True.
you know what I mean, on it fully one way. So yeah.
Definitely. Can I ask you a question?
Okay, I have a question for Musa. Bro, I heard you talking about having a situation where you had a friend who was recording you, and sometimes he would just don't want to record you.
True.
So I want to know, like, how did you get yourself out of that situation? And how can I say, how can an artist or producer find themselves out of that situation, or get funding to get themselves out of that situation right now?
Corporate answer, the quickest way is to go through a record deal. That's the quickest way. But realistically speaking, you just have to begazela, dog. Honestly, you just have to, sometimes you need to just like be the smaller guy, be the like I don't know, maybe my ego allows. I'm a very reserved person. Like even if you try to troll on me or try to act bigger, that's cool. I'm fine with that. That's what makes you feel better about yourself, you know? So if I'm trying to record and you think that's the way to go about it towards me, that's cool. I'll respect your space. If you need me out, I'm gonna be out. If you can have me in, I'll go in. But also one thing I think God has done for me is that He has always put me into spaces where there were people who were willing to take me in.
Yeah.
But also mainly because there's always a catch to that, because also everybody wanted to take something from me, you know, so which is a normal standard of living. Someone is always going to try and take something from you in order to give you something. Nothing is for free at the end of the day. So I had to understand that and be like, you know what, I'm going to have to go to the studio. If they want a song, I'll do them a song so I can be able to wrap up my thing. Kid you not, I think my 2 EPs before my recent album, they were all produced by my friends' studios, not by my own. Not my own computer, not my own anything. Everything was my friends. The only thing I recorded with my own laptop was my vocals, because I was then learning how to become more vocal, so I was always at home experimenting. But despite that, all the songs were done through friends. So I don't think there's a cheat code. The only cheat code is being signed or getting an advance and whatever, which is something I wouldn't advise you to do, you know. Unless if you are just a business mastermind, you know how to make it come back and work out for you.
Okay, let me take you from the side.
And then I want to ask now. So, what scales or modes do you guys use the most, like in this piano thing? Dorian, Locrian.
Now we use a lot of major, and also a lot of dominant seventh.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's jazz chords.
Yeah.
So which is your seventh, your what? Yeah, it's too technical. But but also
there's a alien work, Aeolian.
Yeah.
Does it work? I feel like it sounds too.
I think
like
you know what I love about Amapiano, man.
Yeah.
There's actually a song I have with Jay something. It's very samba like.
Yeah.
The one I did with him actually. It's very different groove, different vibes.
Like
So
Brazilian.
yeah, you know, like samba vibes. It has that vibe. And one thing I love about Amapiano, which is why I firmly say I don't think it's a sound that's gonna die anytime soon, is because you can incorporate any sound. Literally, you can take R&B and put it fully, like the exact R&B, put it in. You can take kwaito, put it in. You can take whatever. So it doesn't really matter whether you use a seventh, unless if you want to sound a specific way. If you want to sound like a Gija, you're gonna have to use a lot of seventh, because those are like broken chords and all of that. And if you want to sound commercial, any chord works. Yeah, any scale works.
Let me take the lady.
My question is for Felo. So she asked you a question regarding what is your niche, right? And then you answered that you must be willing to compromise a lot, right? So, and you also spoke about how to having to combine two sounds to create one. So technically, what is the most challenging part when you are trying to create that sound of synchronization, like from one sound to another, making it to one? So technically, what is the biggest challenge that you face when you're creating that sound?
I think it's probably maybe the balance for it to sound normal or to sound as musical as it can, you know what I mean? It's just I think the tricky part is the balance, you know, because now you're fusing these sounds and sometimes you hear it from, you know, and you're like, yo, I wanna, then you find out that yours is not. So I think the major one is just making them, you know, one, syncing them into one sound. It's not as instant. Sometimes it is, you know, sometimes you're just blessed and you try and it just works out from the word go and that's your sound, you know. But sometimes it just takes like practice. So it's I think the tricky part is just balancing the sounds and everything. Yeah.
I'm sorry, just to add on. Also, music has no rules. Honestly, so I just feel like a lot of people move in the mentality of like, yo, but these people are gonna judge me and say I like, damn, I'm trying to not curse. Yeah, some people may say, no, you used the, like you're ruining the sound and whatever. It's always gonna be like that, especially if you're trying to be an innovator. You know, if you're trying to bring in new sounds, there are no rules. If it sounds beautiful, then so be it. You know, I mean, we have a lot of Amapiano songs that have sampled a lot of old songs.
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
So old people may probably be like, these guys are ruining our music, you know, whereas us, we're like, yo, damn, this sounds so beautiful, you know. So there are really no rules to any of that.
Okay, so I'm going to take the last one because we need to go on an ad break quickly.
Just a good question. Are there any female producers in it?
Yeah, I think she's the only one.
You're the producer. So what do you produce?
I'm sorry. I've only done one deep house song, to be honest. By profession, I'm a qualified sound engineer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we need a lot of like female
Female
producers. I won't lie. Like we need female stars like that. Yeah.
Definitely. I think I'll let you guys choose the last one because.
Yeah.
Hey, when I want people to hate us,
Let
no longer downloading your music.
me start with just saying because she's playing.
Mine is just going to be quick. I just want to know, since we've spoken about production, when is your time for the split sheets, administration, the shares when you're doing the song?
After, usually I do it after the song. That's when you can then like determine how much somebody has worked on the song, cause I think it wouldn't be smart to do it before the session. You don't know what somebody's gonna do. Imagine allocating 50% to somebody who actually did 2%. So right after the whole song, that's when you go into the whole faculties of everything. Then that's when you're like, okay, publishing, you're gonna be distributing so much and so much. Master, who keeps the master? Who keeps the publishing? Who keeps the royalty? What, and do all of that. But yeah, also there's a whole system of how it really works. Like the whole music business side of it, how it really works. How also producers can make money of it, because some producers are literally just paid for a beat and then it's done.
And then it's done.
Whereas it goes beyond that. Even as a producer, you do get like split share, of some sort. Could be your publishing, could be, depending on the agreement of the thing. And also the biggest advice is that don't miss that step. Like before even dropping a song, please sort out that. Just sort it out so that you don't have any kind of drama. Because trust me, especially if you have a hit song, every hit song has drama.
Yes.
There's always drama. Because also there's somebody who's gonna try to be a star more than the other one. And also the song would work in one person's favor more than the other if it's a collective collaboration. So before it even gets to that tricky part, because now you find that the person who was expecting that the shine goes to them is not getting the shine, then they start suspecting things that aren't even there. Like, no, when you're chowing more money, that's why you're buying Gucci. Whereas it just happened that you're gigging more. Also, it causes a lot of entitlement. I think, have your agreements really cleared out. I've been in a situation where I was told to not perform my own song by an artist that I recorded with, because it was just like, hey man, because I'm gigging more than you now, it just became a very tricky chat. So I was like, you know what, next time I do a song, I'm going to have to put those clauses in that you can't stop me from performing my own song. So yeah.
All right, I think this is where I'm going to have to close it off. My producers are shouting at me from the other side. So, but tomorrow we do have another one. So we're going to continue with the conversation again. I do know it's a different 15 people, but because this is pre-recorded, it is going to be on YouTube. So later on, we're going to be able to just go back and actually get more information, even though you're not going to be here tomorrow. But we are going to be here on Wednesday. So the conversation is going to continue. Don't be upset if you didn't catch your answers right now. But we're going to just take a break for now. It's going to be an hour. I think downstairs lunch is served. And then from there, we're going to be expecting Nia and Daliwonga for our writer session. Thank you so much to Musa. Thank you so much to Felo. I think we all learned a lot. But like I said, it's going to be on YouTube. So you can always go back just to rephrase and get more things. I think Balesa can just come forward to just give you directions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was dope. I genuinely want, like when I leave, you know what I mean? I want people to understand that it's possible. You get what I mean? Like, bro, like I used to be best for dressing this thing, you know what I mean? They used to say, nah, you won't get it because it's this big ass brand that, they also like we're from Africa, they don't take us serious. It's like, man, you're an African boy, you can't get this thing. So I want to change that, you know what I mean? Like, dog, you can get it. It's possible, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to leave behind. That's why, like, I was talking to this other friend, he's like, yo, when you play Tafel, I see you rock the gloves and I want to rock the gloves as well. And I'm like, that's crazy. You made me realize, like he made me realize that I kind of like also made it say, it's okay for you to do this. It's okay for you to wear white shoes. It's okay for you to wear black shoes. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with it. And it's okay for you to sound different. You know, I have like people saying that, yo, these boys, they look up to you. And when you listen to the sound, it has that Bacardi flavor in it, but it also has that skija, as you said. So I'm trying to leave that behind, that, yo, it's possible, so that when I leave here, you got to take it to the top, take it to the highest top. I'm trying to change the scenario that we're here for a year. We need to do this for life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You need to be a superstar, bro. You need to buy a house. You need to buy a car. You need to take care of your family. That's what I want to change personally. And I'm praying every day that God helps not only me, like helps all of us. Major League just did a sold-out show in London.
Definitely.
As DJs, not as a performer, as a DJ. That show packs 5K. 5,000 people as a DJ. Do you understand the amount of change that did for not only DJs but for producers? Because if you don't know how to DJ, now that means you can study how to DJ. You know how to produce, but now you can study how to be a DJ. And after being a DJ, you can actually be a superstar. And the longevity is even wider. You know what I mean? So those type of things, like those things, they really touch me, because I get said a lot, like when I go like on Twitter or anywhere on the socials and I see artists saying it's tough or it's like this. You know, I've been in a position where, as you said, depression, I've dealt with depression for like more than 2 years. You know, I'm not just saying it. And I think that's why I'm like this, because I'm trying to eliminate that for everyone, so that when you're within, once you get in the industry, it must be very difficult for you to get out.
Yes.
That's what we must, like, that's what I want people to, like, just remember me with, you know what I mean? And to fight, like, guys, fight. Fight, guys. Like, if you really want to do this for real, like, fight, dog. Like, don't pull back, like, fight. You know what I mean? Like, I was telling her friend the last time, actually, I was like, yo, you guys need to fight. Because all you got is this.
Definitely.
And once it drops, now you out here, you cry, and you're like, yo, it's bad, like I'm suffering. I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want to be in heaven and see that, like, boys crying and everything, you know what I mean? I don't want to be here and see my bro crying as well. And being worried that, damn, we're losing the touch with the people. Like, fight, bro, like going hard. And that spirit is what's going to keep you going on, like sustaining, you know. The more we become comfortable with ourselves and our sounds and our images and whatever we're doing, it's gonna be okay. It's genuinely gonna be okay, yeah.
All right, so I think we're gonna take it to the music now. So because of time, I think it's just gonna be like 2 minutes, 1 minute, Nyana.
Yeah.
Just to give people the flavor of the music.
Okay.
Where's that vanity?
I'm sorry, it's not me, it's the network. It's just taking time to load the song. This is by OVA.
Impact. This is your input.
Okay, my input. I think the build up is dope. One thing I am very hands on is arrangement of a song. For instance, the song is already on 2 minutes, 19 minutes. We are not already moving, you know. So that really plays a role in music. It needs to sound interesting. I love also the way you've arranged the beginning part, because every 8 bars there's a new sound. So it's something new that sparks the ear. So yeah, you just need to work on bringing that bass maybe earlier and all of that. Before you start adding too many things to a point whereby the bass, like by the time the bass drops, the song is very loud and busy. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's dope.
Yeah, I think as he covered, you know, like it's different, eh? I won't lie, like it's really different. No, like it's different, cool. As he said, the bass needs to come a bit, you know, forward. And especially because it's different, it needs to catch quick.
Yeah.
So that you can own that sound. Do you see the cheat code now? So it's unique, just, you know, the arrangement. Then as soon as it's catchy, it's your sound, you're rocking. So yeah, I actually like, yeah, the sound is unique, yeah.
Right. Next one is by Abba Dakaz. All right. Sorry, we're gonna play one of your songs.
Play the other one, not this one. This is Gom. We do Gom and piano.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
This is what I was talking about the drum loop. Already, it gives you a vibe.
Bang shien of key. I'm home alone a big basal. Bang shien in man. I'm home alone a big basal. Bang shien of key. I'm home alone a big basal. Bang shien in man. I'm home alone a big basal. Bang shien of key. I'm home alone a big basal. Bang shien in man. I'm home alone a big basal. Bang shien of key. I'm home alone a big basal. Bang shien in man.
I was left home alone, nilanga Wakwintuze samala, shisilanga Nengalinga bezile, kwavela matanga Ngazuthi nkambamanga Nakamufaki kolidila, sithathi mali yesingu Nithamala hela, vambeki, ngatindana ngiyalinga Abulala, anjengondo kutamalinga Nengane zafika, lapho zamanyezinja Amaphathula amaningi I was left home alone, ngelinye ilanga
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Nate, go first.
Yeah, I think. Nenyaga. It's inside. I think there immediately when you stopped it, the lock drum should have hit there.
Yeah.
Actually,
You should have brought that sub bass before.
Yeah.
This one. It comes after the second.
It comes. Yeah. But yeah, I love the fact that it's very like musical actually. Yeah.
It is musical.
Yeah, it is
but also, I'm not gonna be nice and all. I need to be honest, right? So also, I think the way you record your vocals also is important. Number one thing that's gonna make you go further is quality. The quality of the product. You know, sometimes it's not about having the best lyrics or whatever. It's about having the quality of the sound, how it sounds. It sounds dope. The chords get in there a bit. It's like we moved from this volume to here, and then now the bass line gets in. It starts to distort a bit. I don't know if you heard the speakers. They even went down on themselves, because mixing as well. It really needs to be on point. Vocal wise, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's a really dope. I love the musicality of it.
The musicality
it's
of
really
it.
dope.
Yeah.
Dope
Okay,
music.
so I think we are giving it 2 songs, right? Yes, I think it's only 2 songs.
I don't know if you, how many songs do we have there?
Quite a couple
Diga,
that are left.
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are left.
Alright, can you please play 4 more? Then the rest of them will play after the second session. So it's going to be half and half.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay, the other one is Lucid 012. Teach. Okay, tuck or touch. Palisa network.
It's a brand new day. Sun is up, if he's agarrela compitana. Got skizzy on the line, had me missing pirara. He ain't see me in a minute, feel like I gotta get job. He's like, I ain't home on nothing to my juice. The boots I got decided, then got some talk on the boat. Titi poolside, living coast. Popping bottles at whatever time, like the nulla, let the toe feel like, that's his little body, Tina C. Push up it, enjoying what we got, Tina C. Push up it, we doing what we want. Go my limp in the way, yeah, till we party till we drop. Yeah, we party till we. Nobody got the vibe between a lena. Trip is like
Yeah, that's dope.
I won't lie, that one caught
Yeah.
me. Yeah, I know, that one caught me. I won't lie, boy. Whose song is it?
Lucid.
I know, that one caught me. I won't lie. It's pretty.
It's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I feel like, I don't know, like, I'm speechless. But that one caught me. I won't lie. It's radio friendly also.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's that one is commercial for real. So yeah, you can move with that one actually. It's pretty dope. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really dope
Yeah,
sound.
it's actually it's really
It's
cool.
a-
Song reminds me of Aries 20.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Fully.
Paradise
Fully.
Before Paradise.
Way before actually.
Actually.
Way before.
The next one is by Mega Ambition. Or network is saying what's up. It says the media could not be loaded because the server network failed.
Okay. I think we can do the rest of them later, after the second session. Yeah.
Sorry.
Who mixed this song? Who mixed it?
Some of my friends.
One of your friends. What is this, jazz or what?
Afro pop.
I'm sorry, the network cut and I really wanted
Yeah, I
to
want to
Yeah.
hear more of it actually.
I was executive producer. I did some project I did at school with my friends.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it classically trained? Wait, are you singing in bed here?
Yeah. Speed.
Oh, damn. Input.
Yeah, that song is so, like, it got me Velis at home, like when it started, you know. Also the engineering behind the whole, are you a vocalist?
I'm an executive producer.
Or you're executive? Like, you guys really like cleaned it up. I think it's back to the similar situation of the voice.
Yeah, vocals.
Needs to be, the vocals need to be clear. Because already the beat on its own, it's catchy. Like, it caught me. So you need to catch me as well, or whoever was singing, you know what I mean? Immediately when they jump on, I need to hear what they're saying so that I can relate even more to the sound. But yo, it's beautiful. I won't lie. Personally, it's beautiful. It's just they need to fix the vocals. Yeah. But the mixing, oh. What do they do with those
hi-hats?
Yeah, the cymbals
and all of that.
How, like,
was it like real live drums or what?
Live drum. We did it in the school. We did in the live, especially in the live.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. I just think also you guys need to invest more time into sounds. You know, understanding the deliverance of such a song. If like you were to make a full song like that, in the beginning it gave me a lot of like really poppy, bouncy vibes, like but then now when it came in, it's like, oh damn, are we taking Tilaya Sefela or Tilaya, you know? So, but yeah, I love the intro of that song. It's dope. You need to sell it to me.
It's too much.
Okay, next song, Miss Me, unofficial music video, Emil Bone, the finest.
Hey, wait, whoa, hey, pull up, yeah. Pull up, yeah. Wait, whoa, when I pull up, I hope niggas say you miss me, say you miss me. I hope you niggas say you miss me. Say you what? Say you what? I hope you niggas say you miss me. When I pull up, it's been 6 months. They going nuts, ay. They going chipmunks. Niggas are choking, yeah. I don't do hiccups. I work out, ay. I do sit-ups. I do sit-ups. I do sit-ups. Niggas are psych, bitch, I don't slip up. Make you listen, boy, just listen. Teach you a lesson, yeah. Call me mister. When I talk to your girl in a suit, she knows the things I can do. She all of the seeds that I plant, water in the fruits. Rockin' Givenchy boots, tag on the back to proof. Colors are rockers of mood, yet you rock that nude. Don't talk back, that's rude. I am not your dudes. They gotta.
It gives me a very Malum Cool Cat vibe, like it's a vibe nyana there, you know what I mean? It lost me in the beginning though, when it got into that bass line.
It was tricky.
Yeah, it was a bit tricky, but it just, I won't lie, personally it just gave me like that whole Malum Cool Cat energy vibe that you gotta go in harder. Also the ad-libs at the back. I think that, like, don't let that go. You need to like give more of that so that it moves. Because I think you have the tone. Personally, I feel like he has the tone. It caught me, but it lost me at the same time. But yeah, would I change a few things? A couple of things, yeah, there and there. Yeah, definitely.
I listen to trap, so sometimes I'm really considerate of certain things. I think just like the previous song, what I said about the previous song, sometimes you need to really be intact with what's happening in the world right now. You know, some things might not sound very relevant or relevant for the sound at that time, you know. I personally think that this song, it needs a little bit of a retouch, content-wise, you know. Yeah, that's what's up. We good? Okay, cool.
So lunch served downstairs, so they can all leave right now. Okay, guys. So I think we'll be back here at 3, right, ma'am? Roughly 3:15. Yes, so that we can have your lunch. Thank you.
We're gonna be moving downstairs.